Okay.
Were there any,
Far away.
I guess, what were the positives you took away from the trip to Hawaii?
We spent a lot of time together. So, being that, we were over there 6-7 days, and then if you factor in playing, I think it was Penn State before that. We were together. We just spent a lot of time together. So it's different spending time together on the road than at home. So you only have one another. And the biggest thing for me in talking with our team is the connectivity. I just think being connected, it helps you during tough times, and that to me was the biggest thing about being on the road.
How about on the court? What did you like out of the guys in terms of their play in those 3 games?
I mean, we grew. I just think we grew. I don't think that from an individual standpoint each guy is playing to the level that they want to play, but I think that collectively we're figuring ways out to be a team. And each one of those games that we played in even count Penn State and Hawaii, we won differently, and I think that even the Reno game, we gave ourselves a chance to win. We had some opportunities, we had some chances, we didn't get it done, but I see us fighting. I see us starting to believe. I see us going in the right direction.
You talked after the Nevada game about, getting back home, maybe getting some rest.
Mm-hmm.
What has the schedule been since you've returned, and do you think the guys have their legs back under them now?
Yeah, I think they do. It was a tough trip, to be honest with you. It's 10.5 going, 10.5 coming back. I mean, and it's not an easy flight. But I think that we came back, we took 3 days off, and then we got back into it. The most important thing moving forward is being rested, having legs, and really it's going to be more mental. And I think that the biggest thing for me in talking with our guys has been the mental approach. I want us to be able to, and we did a great job of this in Hawaii. When you can't practice, you got to lock into the scouting report. To me, you don't always got to be on the floor. I think there's a lot of myths about basketball. And I think that the one thing that's a carryover each and every game is you got to know who you're playing against. You got to know the scouting report on each individual that we're playing against. You got to know if they're a three-point shooting team or not a three-point shooting team. And so the way we were able to carry those things over in Hawaii, that was important. And to me, that was just as big a growth as anything that we've done. Because earlier in the season, I don't know if we were as locked in to the attention to detail, but we are becoming more locked in. And I hope honestly, I hope that carries over more than anything, because that gets you through. That gets you through tough times, because usually when you struggle and you go through a period where maybe you're not playing as well or things aren't going your way, it usually has to do with one thing or another. And statistically, that's where, you see maybe defensively we're giving up too many threes. Maybe we're turning the ball over. And those things to me are mental things.
Speaking of the scouting report, what are your impressions on Florida State?
I think that they're a really athletic team, long team. I think similar to our team in terms of the length and the body types and things of that nature. Leonard's done a great job throughout the years, and I respect him a lot. For a lot of different reasons, not only basketball, but just the man he is, the person he is, and just the wisdom that he gives. So. I'm looking forward to going down there. It's a big game. It feels like the first conference game, even though it isn't. But it's a game where I think that I would like for us to go down here and really play well. From the standpoint of, I think our team needs to feel like, we can go anywhere in the conference and play with anybody. So we have to take care of the ball. That's the biggest thing, taking care of the ball, withstanding that pressure. They play a lot of guys like we do. But that's, to me, that's one of the emphasis, if not the biggest emphasis. We gotta take care of that ball.
I know coaches don't like to talk about, well, we should win this game, or we should lose this game, that type of thing, but you go down there and it's probably a game where you're hoping your team gets a lot of momentum early and doesn't let them get in the game.
Well, it's not realistic that that's going to happen, because to me they're like, they're like playing against the killer in a scary movie, so to speak. They never die because they keep pressing, they keep throwing multiple bodies in there, and you got to consistently and constantly stay in attack mode. Like to me, you cannot not be aggressive against them offensively. When you have your opportunities, you got to attack. The opponents that they struggle with, that's what they've done, and we got to do the same thing. But again, to me, the biggest thing is it's not necessarily playing a 40-minute game. It's, to me, there's going to be some lulls. How do we handle those lulls? How do we handle that rough patch if we turn it over 2 times in a row? What are we going to do?
Lance Terry decided to shut it down. What sort of went into that decision? Conversations with Lance.
That was a Lance decision. I'm for anything that a kid wants to do. Now that he's done it, I would say this. You talk a lot about portal guys, and the portal. I always get that hit. I mean, that's a great portal guy right there, sitting right here. And to have Lance come back, when he got injured, he was probably a starter. Yeah. So to have him coming back next year with what we'll have coming back, I look forward to it. I think Lance defensively is the best defensive guard on this team. I think that he's a proven shooter, and I think that athletically, he's one of the more athletic guys in the conference. So I look forward to getting a chance to coach Lance next year. You look for, and I imagine you adjust your playing time during the game based on how guys are playing naturally. But you have some guys that have been great one game and not so great the next game. What are you looking for from some of these guys as far as consistency, and how does that develop? Man, I'm shuffling them in and out. I'm not giving free minutes, and I think that's my mentality. And I think the guys know, and I think that any player, just like an adult, we as adults, when we struggle with inconsistency, we get mad at that, and I think that as players, they're trying to find their stride, and they're trying to find consistency. But each one of them, I tell them this: don't identify yourself with just scoring the basketball, because sometimes they get in the way. You got to get lost in doing the little things. You got to rebound, you got to defend, you got to dive for loose balls, okay? You got to take charges, you got to do things that's going to help impact winning other than scoring. And I think that's the biggest thing, that if you want to get on the floor, then get lost in those little things.
Couple more.
Can we just talk about, we started conference play now, everything kind of changes a good bit, energy, things mean more, wins mean more, losses mean more. Just talk about how things are going to change a lot here going forward.
Well, I don't know how things are going to change. It'll never change from my perspective, whether we're winning or we're losing. But I would say I'm for one excited about getting into the thick of the ACC conference. This being my first time around, I'm excited to go play against the caliber of programs that are in this league. I'm excited about going and coaching against the caliber of coaches that are in this league. So from that standpoint, I look forward to it. In terms of team-wise, I don't base getting better on wins and losses, although I do understand what the left and the right-hand column means, but I really base getting better on how we're continuously doing as a team, and I think that we're going in the right direction. So I'm really excited about moving forward in the conference.
One more.
Do you feel like your team is getting your message that you've been giving to them throughout the season?
A little bit, but I give it to them every day. I give it to them until they get tired. I'm not going to change my message. The one thing for me, collectively, is the buy-in. I've been a player before, so I know what it is to have success. I know what it is to struggle. I know what it is to, just kind of not know where I stand at the moment. And again, what I say is get lost in helping your team win. Get lost in identifying with something other than scoring the basketball, because, you know, I do what I do and I am who I am. And if you're able to help and do the little things, then you're probably gonna win, because doing the little things means you're paying attention to detail. I have a saying, and I say this to my team a lot. You know, sometimes for me, it's hard to rely on people. If I go to your house, did you make your bed in the morning? Like, to me, that's an organizational thing. Like, we can make excuses up, but if you just took the time to wake up 15 minutes earlier, you could have did it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, I'm really big on the structure of it all, the attention to detail. Again, the attention to detail, what does that require? That requires you to know scouting reports. That requires you to know who you're guarding. It's not just about you. You know, it's about helping your teammate. Like, it's so much bigger than what most people think. That's how I've always looked at it. You know, and, you know, I've always had people help me. So I see the same thing for these guys, and I'm going to keep on preaching that word. It's not going to ever change.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.